and it's a burning issue. It's like a controversial issue when it comes to business. Like, should we focus on branding? I've never created a post on that. Do you know why? Because it's super controversial.
Hey, welcome to the Growworth Podcast with Joe Mutuku. My name is Joe Mutuku, and welcome to this podcast. Our aim here is to promote conversations that influence founders and leaders into understanding their own value and growing it through enterprise. I hope you join us. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and also ring the bell so that you get notified when we upload a new video. All right, so now let's get on to the video. All right. Hey, everybody. I am very excited to be having the conversation that I'm having with this guest today. It's someone that I have followed on Instagram for a while. Actually, this is the first time we're actually meeting. And we're meeting in this interview, and I'm really excited to hear his story and his insights. And I'm sure it's going to be very valuable to all of you. So I'm going to introduce him. His name is Oluwadaisi Funsho Felix, but he goes by Funsho Felix. All right, as he should. Funsho is a brand strategist, designer, and the founder of Brand Salute, a Nigerian-based brand strategy agency and content creator with over 72,000 followers across multiple platforms. This man is really popular. His mission is to educate people and leaders about brand power and help bold companies and organizations find and amplify their message. He currently works as a content creator for Moto, a global award-winning branding agency in New York, and he's the chief brand strategist and designer for Brand Salute. So I know I have introduced you, but how do you introduce yourself usually?
My name is Funsho Felix. Oluwada is Funsho Felix. Or Funsho Felix for short. A strategist, a designer, and I like to call myself an all-round entrepreneur because at the very core of what I do is actually entrepreneurship. So that's me in a nutshell.
Wow. So how did you come to be Funsho Felix, the entrepreneur and the brand strategist?
I've actually been exposed to graphic design, not graphic design, but computer. Like my dad bought a computer then when we were like, I think 9, 10, 11. So at the point, we used to come home, we used to bring this set of desktop computers out then. And when he's done using it, because he travels states, then he switches states because of the nature of work that he does. Um, so whenever he's leaving the house, he's going to pack the desktop computer into the carton. And I was someone that actually has been quite digital savvy from a very young age. And all through those periods, I used to just play games. And at the point, it wasn't packing them up again. So throughout the week, I usually just go on desktop and just play GTA, play Winning Level. I don't know if you know this game. They are really very
Yeah,
interesting games
absolutely.
out there.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. So one of the programs that was installed in the computer back then was called, I think it was still called Raw 9. I don't know if you know called Raw.
I
It's a
do.
huge competitor for Adobe programs right now. Yeah. So then it was still like in the early versions, and I don't know how to use code. Like it was interesting because I kind of like the fact that it's a design tool and I can actually design um, anything from using the program. But it was a challenge then because I didn't know anything about it. So, but I kind of fancied the fact that wow, this is really cool, really really cool. And I left it back then, and the desktop computer kind of got spoiled because I played a lot of games with it, and So fast forward to 2017, 2018, and I got hold of a laptop computer then, and the urge to actually play games to kind of came, and I installed another game, and that was the whole game back then. I think for one, let me just state this: I'm a huge lover of games, and most especially I like football games. Yeah. So I think 2017. Yeah, 2017. I stumbled on Corel Draw again, but this time it was Corel Draw 12. I think. Then I kind of promised myself that I was going to actually pursue this. Alright. So that was how I actually got into graphic design. Alright. So I was quite fortunate enough to be to work with real life projects like from get go. I remember I actually branded.
Oh,
I took a logo of one of my yeah. I took a logo of one of the. This person was like a leader in our church back then, so he has a business, and I took his logo and kind of redesigned it, branded the company, and sent it to him. He liked it. He fell in love with it. And that move, that moment, I mean that move, it got me. I mean, it kind of landed me a contract with him to actually start working on because he collect branding projects too. So I think at that point, I now started giving some of the projects that I got on hand. So yeah,
wow.
at the very early stages, I actually got to work on real life,
Oh
no
my
chance for
gosh.
many. So actually, yeah. So through that, I developed really quick. I think learning is more. I feel like learning is two ways. Right? You can actually learn the theoretical way, read theories, and actually build yourself up from there. And you can actually do it the practical way. As you are learning it, then you are applying this theory. So that was actually my journey then from graphic. I mean, when I started graphic design. So I did a lot of design in the first year, second year. I did a lot of design. Then I think the second year, that was when I moved into branding specifically. I kind of niched. But I didn't know I actually niched, but I mean, my instincts just told me I don't want to do other part of design again. I want to do branding, which is actually like developing logos, developing extensions for brand identities, and all of those stuff. I kind of loved that aspect of that. Then in the third year, I moved really quickly into strategy. Why strategy? Branding, whatever brand identity that you're creating, if it doesn't have a story behind it, if it doesn't have a meaning behind it, then trust me, you are creating. I don't want to say trash, but you are just creating pixels. Really, you are just creating pixels. Alright.
Mhm.
I didn't have anyone to tell me that, but deep inside me, I felt like I needed a purpose to this thing. Like even in my project, I usually do designs, and at the end of the day, the client will be like, "Oh, I don't like this, I don't like that." The decisions on the client side right now, is usually made from the angle of the aesthetics, how it looks like, not essentially the meaning that it portrays or the experiences that it symbolizes. All right. So I felt I needed to do strategy, or I needed to dive into strategy back then. So one of the earliest books that I read back then, 20 Principles of Branding, which was written by David Baker. That book just, if you ask me right now that, I mean, I usually recommend it for a lot of people who want to dive into strategy. That's the only book that I need to actually do strategy, in my
Say
opinion.
say the book again.
Yes. David
What's the name of
Baker,
David Aker?
20 principles of branding. Yeah. I think that should be the title. Yeah. David Baker.
Okay.
He's a professor, right? Professor David Baker.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
book went into real detail into what actually branding is.
Mhm.
The strategic part, the purposeful part, the positioning, the personality, the visuals, the logo, everything was like that's really one of my best books on branding. Then so that kind of gave me it introduced me to the world of strategy. All right. And social media made everything easy back then. So I quickly followed a lot of people that I know are experts in that field. And yeah, I developed my own understanding of what branding is. All right. So that was actually how I actually found myself. its strategy. So that's really the story. And since then, it's really
Yeah.
been cool, and it's really been
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, so far.
Wow. It's very interesting. Like all the way from like Corel Draw and the curiosity behind that, and then um
Seriously.
it
Mhm.
just leads you to this path. Um so one thing that I really wanted to ask you is, and it's something that a lot of people that are not familiar with branding almost like they wonder or maybe they're not so sure. um and the question is, why is branding important, and why does it matter, and what is it even, according to you? Is how do you navigate that question?
Okay. Um, I think I think right now in the 21st century, except you, okay, because I think one part of this answer is that this is what I've devoted. I think this is what I'm devoting my whole life to educate a lot of people as much as possible on the power of branding, on the power of a brand. And also on the flip side, I think the reason why a lot of people don't know about this is because branding is like, I think partly it's because of the nature of brand, right? Because when you're talking about a business, like building a business, then people are going to think sales first. How does a business make money? All right. So when people are thinking about sales, people are thinking, well, marketing, let's put it out there. Because if your business don't have visibility, then you're not going to make sales. So people think marketing next. But what people do not understand is that brand should come first. All right. Brand is like you have your house, you have a house, or you have a business. Business is okay. Let's put it this way. When you have a business, when you have for example, using this scenario, if you build a house like on an island, let's liken the house to you having a business. All right. If you build that house in a broad highway in a city where a lot of people can see you, that is your marketing. That is you actually doing marketing because now you are approaching a lot of people, a lot of people are seeing your house. But if the house is not painted, if the house is not exteriorly lavishly decorated, if it's not extravagant, if the nuances are not attractive, no matter where you put the house, whether the broad highway, whether you even put it in the roundabout in your area, people are not going to notice it, right? So now, what's the essence? Why branding? Because branding is the life. That branding, I feel like branding is the life. Branding is the soul, and branding is the activator that a business needs to actually be successful. Branding is the soul because branding is built inside out. You don't build brand outside in. You build it inside out. Branding is the life of a business because brand supports the marketing. So if you are sales oriented, you will still need brand. Then branding is the activator because at the end of the day, people are not buying the business. People are not buying the product. They are what? They are buying the brand. So I think brand is interesting, really. And that's really my take on it. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. You said a lot there.
Oh
So
God.
so branding, so branding is almost the, it's the thing that you have to work on first for you to be effective with your marketing and your promotion and all those things, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So what are the consequences of not caring about branding?
About brand.
What if someone
Right.
is like,
Um,
I just don't see it. I guess I don't care.
I don't see it. Yeah, right. Absolutely. So these are the kind of stuffs that although confidential, these are the kind of stuff that I work with. Um, the founders at Moto, they are super exceptional, and I think we've created the content around it. So
Mhm.
um, in Nigeria, I think there was a time I was having a conversation with my friend, and he said he has someone like a big brother, and the big brother has a business. He has never designed anything, but he's making
Mm.
millions in our currency, naira. He's making millions weekly. And I said
Mhm.
to him that, fine, you might be comfortable, fine, you're making profit. But do you know that if your brand, you stand a chance of 10 quadrupling that, if that's a
Multiplying.
word, you
Yeah.
stand a chance of
Yeah. Yeah.
multiplying that by 100 times, right? I think
Mm.
I'm not going to blame people who do not see who do not really know or see the power of brand. But I think
Mhm.
if people can come to the understanding that, fine, you might be making profits, like you might be okay, but if you actually harness the way people see you, if you really actually created a meaning to your business, attach a meaning to it, do you know that you stand a chance of multiplying 20 times, 30 times, in 50 times your profits? Like that, it's so easy. I finished a level C course yesterday with Smart Cinema and this stuff.
Oh my
And one of the
gosh,
things that they
dude,
said was that,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm yet to announce it. I've posted Instagram for a while for the certain for the course. And one of the things that they
Mhm.
said is the ROI of branding, the major ROI without sweet talking anything, is profit. It's profit. Profit, profit, profit. Now, if you are actually branding, and if you feel like, okay, if you're not branding and you feel like you're looking for, if you brand, trust me, I'm not sweet coating, I'm not sugar coating anything, but you actually can 20 times your profit. Because the fact that people are buying into your product already means something. All right. Now, imagine you are attaching meaning and you're reinforcing, you making the experience a lot more better. Then, trust me, the people that you think are buying from you, they are going to come in droves when you brand. So it's quite interesting how man.
Wow.
I don't know if I answered the question. I don't know, but
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, you're reminding me like we got my agency. We got um invited to help a business that was doing very well. So we even wondered why
Yeah.
do they need us? But then we got there and we realized that the founder realized that he had hit a ceiling. Yes, he was making serious a lot of
Mm.
money in the billions when it comes to Kenya shillings because the company is in Kenya. So that is not a small business at all. But he had hit a ceiling in terms of his expansion. He wanted to stop being regional and even enter into other markets as well.
Mm.
And he realized that having a strong brand story was lacking for him, right? So then he called us and we went in there and helped them. So you're right. So businesses can be making money without
Mhm.
branding, but once they understand what branding can do for them, they can actually um,
Yeah.
multiply that exponentially. And that's what he did.
They
Like
can.
this guy, like his business is just it's becoming bigger than even what he thought it would be, right? Because he's been
Wow.
able to leverage that.
Yeah, it's no
So
brainer. Yeah.
yeah,
It's no
yeah,
brainer.
and also another thing that a lot of people realize is yes, you can have a good business without a good, but the problem with that is
Mm.
if someone comes with that has good capital and is able to do exactly what you do, you're
Mhm. You're
people can
gone.
switch.
That's the
People can
thing.
switch from you. Like yeah, like people will be like, oh okay, so
Fast. Okay.
and you're out of
Exactly.
business.
At,
Yeah.
at that point, you will be competing on the price or on fancy
Hmm.
on these things, probably the price or something. But when you have a brand, you are not competing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you are you.
Mm-hmm.
You are you. That's
Mm-hmm.
just it. I don't want to use Apple because a lot of things, but Apple is a prime example of
Mm-hmm.
being a brand.
What would you say someone that is just learning about all this stuff? Maybe they went to your page or they've just realized, okay, so this thing that I can actually leverage, and but okay, so what do I do? Like, how do I even start? Um, what do I do to start getting the benefit of having a solid brand that can lead to even more profits for my business? So, what would you tell them
Okay.
that would be the thing
Mm,
to do?
mm, okay. I think what I'm going to tell them is that they, you see, people are quite funny, you know. I think for the most of my clients, most of the people that I've interacted with, they came to me because most of them broke down. Maybe they followed me for a while and they feel like, okay, it's high time they take it to the next level. All right. So I think for a start, you have to just believe in the power of brand. I don't know. It seems really cliche, but I think that's just it. Like if you don't give it a chance in your mind, then there's no way that you feel like it's going to work for you. You know, because branding is not something that you do today, you reap the profit tomorrow. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So it means like you need to have this mindset that it can work. Trust me, brand is not a scam. For whoever is watching this, brand is not a scam. It is not it is not a ploy for marketers to get rich, and it is not something that we say in order to charge you for consultations or whatever. It works. It does works. All right. So you just need to have the mindset that this thing you are not creating, you are not adding something fancy to your business that another person can steal. You are adding you are building your own competitive advantage, and that is the only competitive advantage that you can ever have. The brand. You don't have to. You are not competing on that. You are only. In fact, that is your, how would I put it? Like that is your skill. That is your only card. That is the only card that you can pull when other businesses are copying your products, if you are copying your model, whatever. But really, have the mindset that it works and just go fully into it because it works.
Wow. That you're absolutely, and like you said, it sounds like so simple, but it's so true and so
Yeah,
profound, right? So you,
it's really true. Yeah,
if you really don't think that it's gonna work, then you're gonna find a lot of reasons for it not to work. So you're
exactly,
gonna want to justify it
exactly.
failing, but if you believe it's gonna work, it
Mm-hmm.
is gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you're
It
right,
is.
like you have to just have the mindset to know that, first of all, it's not something that was just invented. It's existed for a long time, and a lot of companies and businesses have leveraged it and they've gotten results. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
like
Absolutely.
a fad that just
Results,
started.
exactly.
um
It's not
yeah.
like,
so
yeah.
so if it worked for them, then you have to believe that it can work for you. So that's really powerful. So um
There you go.
what do you think is your role um in that process of helping these people with their brands? Like, what would you say is the thing that you really go in and do for them? Like, if they reach out to you, like, what are you gonna do for them
Mm-hmm.
with their brand?
Yeah. Um, this is basically what I do is I think I'll say is in two ways or three ways basically. Um, I help them clarify the brand because trust me. Okay, let me put it this way. Number one, I help them audit the brand, then help them clarify. their strategy, right? Because we can't actually do strategy if you don't know where the business is, right? What have you been doing? What message have you been saying? How are people perceiving you? All of these things you put them into consideration before actually doing strategy, all right? Then the strategic part is where I actually take them through series of workshops, and in this process, they gain clarity. And clarity is one thing that is very important in brand. If you are not aware of things like your purpose or things like your mission or your vision, it should be very difficult for you to believe in your business. I don't know, because those things are the core parts of the meaning that your business have. Like for example, all right, you sell this, you sell that. Hmm, okay, why am I to sell this in the first place? Those are pretty important questions that as a business owner you need to be aware of. Not for today that you are making profits, but for tomorrow that profit is going to dwindle, or for next tomorrow that a certain competitor is going to come and just push everything away. All right. So when you are aware of why you're doing things, when you are aware of the core things, your values, especially. In fact, values are so. In fact, when I started, I felt like maybe core values are just like you just need to do them. But later I realized these things are so important to not small business might not value it because most small business owners they are so pronounced that just the only person in the but those kind of things they are so valuable to corporate business. People that have, I mean, business that have 50 employees, 100 employees, 200, because these are the things that informs the way they behave internally. Right? So things like that are very important in the clarity stage. You have to clarify all of these things. Then now move to visualizing the strategy because the strategy is one thing, it's only for you, the owner. Then the next thing is to actually visualize it, turn the meaning into actual designs because the designs they are something major when it comes to branding. People are influenced by what they see, they are influenced by the color that they see, they are influenced by the packaging, the website experience, everything. So that's super important. Then after visualizing the whole thing, you need to now take it further to activating it. Right? Probably if you
Mm.
employ some offline marketing practices like putting flyers, billboards everywhere. On social media, you need to constantly post content. So on the activating side, I don't do that much. Of course, if it's based on request. But on the strategy and visual side, yeah, I'm heavy on that. And yeah, that's what I'm modeling brand sales to do for that.
Wow. That's really powerful, and it's very interesting how how clear you're able to articulate what you do. So basically, you're doing the audits so that you can know the truth, right,
Yeah.
about the brand and what
Mhm.
exists, and then from there, you'll be able to clarify what it needs to be, and
Mhm.
then you wanna almost like put that clarity in some form of assets that people can see and access and connect to, right?
Yes,
Visualize. And then
exactly.
you want to make sure that these assets are constantly being activated or used so that they can continue to emphasize that message over and over again
Exactly.
to these customers.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's pretty cool, man.
Mhm.
So I know a lot of people um, confuse branding and marketing, um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
maybe some believe it is the same thing, and maybe it is or maybe it isn't. I guess I wanted to know what do you think is the difference between branding and marketing?
Anyway, um, uh, the thing is, let me say this. I have explored both sides. Like I've seen takes from experts, in these major sites like the marketing and the branding, and it's a burning issue. It's like a controversial issue when it comes to business. Like, should we focus on branding? I've never created a post on that. Do you know why? Because it's
Oh.
super controversial. Like, you can have an angle about it, but your angle
Mm,
is not. It's still subjective. That is not the.
mm,
It's not acceptable
mm,
to most people. So I would say that branding is you creating the meaning behind your business. You creating and harnessing that meaning in there. Okay, let me put it this way. The brand is the feeling, is the meaning attached to your business, right? Established. Branding is you reinforcing that meaning or that feeling in the minds of your audience. All right. Marketing is the vehicle to which branding happens. You know what? I'm just
mm.
coming up with this thing in my head, but I think
Oh my
that is the truth.
gosh, dude,
Market,
that was that was
I don't
good.
know,
That was good,
right?
man.
So we shouldn't really. I think it's looking at it, thinking about it now. That's the fact. The brand is the feeling, is a meaning. Branding is you reinforcing that meaning. But actually, in that process, marketing is happening. So marketing is the vehicle to which branding takes place. Because there's absolutely no way that you can separate branding from marketing. Like even experts are going to tell you, you can't brand without marketing, and you can't market. The marketing cannot be 100% successful if you don't brand. How would I put it? Like you can't walk out of the street naked. You have to put something on. That's the way it works. Exactly. Branding has to clothe you, but the marketing has to like be the vehicle for you to reach people. You get? So that's the way I think
Yeah,
about it, and
dude,
I think
that's
they work together. You can't just separate them. That's
wow, dude. That's I don't know if I've heard it explained like that. I think you've put some really cool, fresh words in my mouth about how that relationship works, and yeah, that's
mm,
really cool. I'm hoping
yeah,
that people
exactly.
who've heard
It's a
that,
relationship.
yeah,
It's a relationship. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know. Even where I'm from, because I'm Kenyan, like there's always this idea that those two things, that there's two camps. There's no two camps, and those
It's also one.
you cannot work without the other one, right? So,
Exactly.
so, but a lot of people
So
want to isolate one or isolate the other,
yeah,
whereas they are complementary. They help each other,
yes,
right? So
exactly, exactly.
cool. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing your wisdom with us, Fansho. I enjoyed that.
So
I feel like
it's a
I've
great
learned
pleasure.
I feel like I've learned some things too from you. Even your perspective and how you articulate things. I think it's very fresh and different and good. And I appreciate you allowing yourself to participate in sharing your knowledge with everyone. I hope everyone gotten something. If you haven't, that's okay. But if you have, I hope you will leave something in the comments and share with us what is the biggest thing that you've learned from Funsho today. So, Funsho, let people know how they can find you and how they can participate in your offers and your services. How can people
Alright.
engage with you?
Yes. You can follow me on my Instagram, Mr. Funsho, Mr. A period and Funsho, and also on LinkedIn, Funsho Felix. So just type Funsho Felix on LinkedIn. That's my major channel. I'm on Twitter though. I use Twitter for personal stuff. I share the pics. So I would recommend you for my Twitter. All right, so yes, if you I have a book, an ebook on personal branding, because if you are a solopreneur with no employees under your coach, or no employees behind you, you are like a freelancer, or maybe you just have a business online that you only are managing, you might want to consider having a personal brand too, right? Because there are two types of brand: the business one, the one where you have a lot of people coming together to form a brand. Then you have your own brand, your personal brand, the likes of, and for example, the likes of Bill Gates, the likes of, I don't want to mention this man, but I'm going to do that, Elon Musk, and also some others, right? So you need a personal brand for you to actually be able to influence your business, especially if you are a one-man business. So yeah, I've created a personal brand and ebook. So you can go to my Instagram, just tap the link in my bio, and you will be on your way to getting one. So yeah, and
Awesome.
another thing that I also do is that I offer strategic sessions for people with personal brands who need a do it with me kind of section. I'm going to help you consolidate the meaning behind your brand, and also help you to figure out how you're going to build foster meaning, especially on socials. So I usually encourage people, in fact, it's on my bio. Don't instead of creating a social media page, create a social media brand, because that's really what is going to you know, it's an asset that you can leverage for your for your business success. So yeah, that's
Wow, that's amazing. All right, so you've heard the man. You guys go follow him on social media, Mr. Funsho. He shares a lot of really, really good, useful content. I feel bad that we're not able to dive into a lot of that because there's a lot of good stuff in there, even in
honestly, I feel
regards
like this is strength.
we should have
You
another
can go all
conversation.
day.
We should have another
Absolutely, I'm
conversation.
down.
But thank
Just
you so
go on
much
now.
for coming through. I'm sure I appreciate you. I appreciate
Thank
your.
you, Joe.
I
Thanks for
wish you
having
all
me.
the best in your endeavors. And yeah, thank you.